Hey everybody, this is Ian Lowe of Lform Design, your B2B web design experts, and I got my trusty right-hand man, Jeff. Jeff, how you doing today?
Doing pretty well. Very busy at Lform.
Very, very busy. It's that time of the
Yeah,
year.
absolutely.
So when everybody else gets slow, we get busy. And Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself for those who have
Yeah,
first-time viewers.
absolutely. So my name is Jeff Caromi. I'm the art director here at Lform. And for the past 15 years, I've specialized in SEO, user experience, interface design for B2B clients.
He's definitely an expert at what you do, right, Jeff?
I would like to think so.
I know so. Okay. So that being said, let's jump right into it. 3-second rule. Within 3 seconds, can we figure out what this company does? So let's see here. I'm going to go first. And I'm seeing stacks, seeing a slideshow. You and I not big fans of carousels. It's moving quickly. But let's see, the slide that I'm on right now is the ethylene oxide measurement. Okay, so ambient air monitoring. All right, so looks like they do air monitoring. And they've been in business for 50 years. It's very apparent. I couldn't tell. No, I'm just joking. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they're selling, but it has to do something obviously with stacks, air monitoring. Let's see here, wet stacks. So from a rating of 0 to 10, I give it solid C, so 75 in terms of, kind of knowing what they do. All right, and we're not going to scroll down much, right? Because we know, Jeff and I know that most people on desktop on the homepage don't scroll that far. So what do you think, Jeff? 3-second rule.
Yeah, I mean, if you come in on the first slide here, it's a lot of text, and this one at least gives you clean air engineering. So up here, the headlines, they're at least keeping them a little short. The problem is everything underneath here. This is a lot to read, and the slideshow is not giving you a lot of time to do it. And that's one of the problems with slideshows. Whenever we see them, we always point them out as a problem. Looking at my other screen and doing a little inspect on there, these aren't live text either. These are images. So that means all this great copy that tells what you do, the different kind of sections or segments of your expertise. Google is not reading any of this. So all of this stuff, which should be H1 headlines and paragraph, or even, if you put in a subheader, this stuff is all not being read by Google, which is not good because this is the important information. And that's on top of all the other problems, like just, people wanting to ignore these fancy animations. No one really wants to see this kind of stuff. People generally ignore it. And it's just unnecessarily slowing the site down, which is also bad for SEO and user experience. So, all in all, it's a little bit of our usual spiel of slideshows. We should just make one video that we play on a talk boy every time we encounter one. But yeah, I mean,
how about we up it
3 second?
How about you give me $20 every time, or the potential client has to give us $20 every time we see a carousel.
We would have to switch our business models at that point. But joking aside, with the 3-second rule, I mean, if I'm thinking about this like a user, I mean, they do something with CleanAir, but I'm not exactly sure. It's a lot of text to read. I'm certainly not going to read it. These bullets below, which they just say digital. Okay, so they do safety, innovation, industry leading. So they lead the industry in innovation, safety, and digital services. That's what I'm getting from this. And generally, that's how users are going to approach this. All of this copy that you have, that's up here, people are going to either, unless they find something particularly interesting from a headline, they're not going to be reading this. So, this website definitely needs to work on its headlines and making it skimmable. Your first headline on your homepage should clearly state exactly what you do, and ideally with some keywords that your audience are going to get in. Also, at least from this slide, this wet stack one, this is very filled with jargon. And you generally want to avoid jargon kind of at all costs. Many B2B businesses will be, oh, well, our audience knows exactly what this means. Well, that's not entirely sure. You may have people new to the industry that are starting out. You may have people like myself with dyslexia who have a very hard time parsing text that has, that. And there's other cognitive issues. You could have assistants looking this up. And on top of that, you have stakeholders who may not be engineers or savvy, but they have a lot of role in who they're hiring, right? Absolutely. So you need to look at those types of audiences and think, what's the easiest and clearest way to get across what you do? And that's a lot of talking to basically say, I'm not exactly sure what they do, right, when I enter this website.
I mean, again, the slides they're too long, right? The descriptive text is a paragraph. So at least this one is 2 long sentences. So too much information, absolutely, for a carousel. It's not HTML text. It's not, indexable text. So it's not going to scale properly too, as you go into a mobile device. Like you mentioned, the 50 years of business. Yeah, that's important. But ultimately, what do clients or potential clients care about? They care about my problem. How can you help me? Great. We've been in business for 50 years. You know what? It's not important to most people, meaning it is a decision factor. It makes sense to have that somewhere on your site. But ultimately, what they want to know is again, state a claim. We sell XYZ. We're the best in the business at solving XYZ. Put down some testimonials, some case studies, highlight those. And then maybe below that, put 50 years of experience, right? So I'd say it's secondary, if not, third tier in terms of bolstering your claims. So safety, great. Yeah. You know what? I hate to say everybody in any industry, if they're dealing with hazardous items, they need to be safe. It's a requirement, right? ISO, everything else. So who cares? Innovative, everybody's innovative. How many times have we seen innovative, right? So industry all the time. Industry leading. Everybody says they're industry leading. Digital services. Okay, great. Ultimately, they're not doing a good job of differentiating themselves and really highlighting what they do well. They really should remove the carousel up here. Have, as we always say, directionals, highlights. We rarely do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to pull up another site like Microsoft's site. I love referencing Microsoft, but again, clear directionals here. They do have a slideshow, but it's 2 slides. We don't even like, the fact they have 2 slides, and then they have the directionals here, boxes, right? So simple cues take off of major companies that are in the tech industry. So, yeah, let's continue to dissect this homepage here. So, here we go. What we do. This should absolutely be first thing, if not maybe presented in a different way up top in the hero area, right, Jeff? Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always like going down the website a little bit right before we get up, but this should be way higher on your website. If we, that text you were talking about, all of that information, it's not communicating. All those points, the 50 years, safety, innovation, all of that stuff is what people expect at a baseline. So you're telling them baseline information. This should be easily the second item on your website after a static homepage hero with live text. Because this will let a user know, oh, I'm looking for stack testing, right? Maybe they need equipment for stack testing. Okay, they do stack testing, it's the right place. Because part of telling what your audience you do is also telling them what you don't. so that people aren't wasting your time and, you know, asking you for services or offerings that you don't even have, right? So yeah, this, and look at this, it's very clear. You have exactly what it is, and then you have a little bit of extra text, right, which fills up the area. It looks nice, and it gives you a little bit of extra context. So this is kind of, this area is kind of a perfect perfect directional area. Now, if these were, and they are, yes, and they are clickable, so even better, because I can mouse over, click on one, and I'm right into the area I'm looking for.
Yeah,
you know,
let's do
within
that.
3 seconds, you're now into the website.
Now that was odd. Didn't I click on? Okay, so equipment rental, sales and servicing. Okay, all right. I was confused for a second here. Guaranteed work class.
That's actually, I want to touch on that.
Okay.
So that's something we do. So we've gone from an icon to a big header image, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So I was confused. Like my brain couldn't process that.
yeah, it was a very quick transition. Ideally, you would want that icon somewhere, whether it's up here, over to the side, maybe a little bit lower. And that's like a little visual cue that tells the user you're on the right page. You know, you clicked on this, here's the familiar element you were looking at. And it's a small thing to do, but it helps quite a bit. So you want to kind of keep consistency from those kinds of items.
Absolutely. And then this is interesting. So I know that their store is a separate area. But ultimately it would have been better if they brought in some products, some maybe featured products into this one area. Because ultimately what we offer, yeah, I want to see what equipment rentals, great. I actually want to see what you offer right away. It's another click that I have to do, but I wanted to jump back a little bit for a second. You mentioned, you know, these are clickable, but unless I'm rolling over them, I don't know that they're clickable elements. There's no buttons or any type of graphics insinuating that they're clickable, that there's more information. So this is bad.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to really make it clear. Ideally, a button. If you want to be a little bit cleaner, you can use link text. At the very least, maybe just underlining would be kind of your baseline for this. But you could say, learn more about cooling tower testing, and have a little link right about, if I pull out my little line tool, just right there. It doesn't have to be big, right? And that gives and maybe even in an alternate color, that kind of contrasts, right? Yellow is ideally one you would want to use on this blue, but that allows you to, you know, tell the user, hey, this is clickable, please click me. And then they can, you know, go to that whole big directional, and then it's clickable.
Yeah. All right, so let's continue down this homepage, and then we'll go inside the set a little bit. All right, so they have a testimonial from BP. That's impressive. That's a household name, BP, British Petroleum. So again, take a testimonial like this, which is fantastic, bring it up that page. I want to see it closer to the hero area. In fact, it'd be better if they had the testimonial up in the hero area, then followed by, you know, what we do, and maybe, you know, squish this area a little bit, bring it a little bit, you know, together a little bit. I kind of like the white space, but as we know, you have limited space, limited real estate before that imaginary fold. So, so good content here. And okay, we have recent, and they have blogs. So ship, and let's see how they don't have dates on the blog. Oh no, they do right there, July 13th, 2020. Ooh, a year old.
All right, so a little old, yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be showing blogs if they're a year old. I would eliminate that section from my website or start blogging again. So this is good. What does it mean to be a certified EPA clean sample container? I mean, that's looks like someone was doing a good job blogging here. This is, well, maybe not. This looks like there are a few months in between their blogs, but probably still relevant information. So, and recent news and updates. Let's see this here. Okay, so they have events. Ultimately, people aren't going to get this low on the homepage. So I wouldn't even put this on the homepage. Who we work with? Oh, even better. All right, so wait here, I can't click left or right. So they work with 3 people and that's it?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things I'm seeing in this area. If you scroll just up just a little bit to the news.
Okay.
So right there, March 31st, that's a little newer. that is easily something. If you have a type of blog post or a type of news that's newer than the others, group them all together. People are going to come here, they're going to take a quick look, and they are going to look at dates. And they do consider things like how active is the company, and all of that reflects on you. Now, most people know, maybe you're not going to have a blog post every month, every other month, but at least March 31st, as it was somewhat recently, right?
Yeah.
And then if we go back down to those logos, I mean, you're already displaying BP. Why aren't there more client logos in this area? If you scroll down, please, Ian. And you're right. See these little visual elements here? This says there's more, but you can't, these buttons don't work. They don't click on more. So yes, what you're, yeah, maybe they're broken, but what it's saying is, it's now moving.
Now,
okay.
yeah, the arrows don't work. Oh, now they do. What the?
Okay, so they're delayed. But again, we don't like carousels. Here's a really good reason why. They break. People expect a lot from them. But also, is it more impressive if someone's skimming your site? Are they going to sit here and go through every one of your clients? No. If you have 8 logos, put those 8 logos right next to each other, display all of them, especially if they're big brands. So let's do a row of 5, right? You got 10 logos. Now you see, you're telling people 2 things. 1, we have a bunch of clients, and 2, you want to make sure that those clients are known within your industry or are ideally kind of household names that anyone would know.
I think these are partners, not clients. I think that's another, the vernacular, who we work with is not, they should probably say organizations or partnerships or.
Actually, you're right there.
Yeah, I don't think, Worldwide Pollution Control Association would insinuate to me these are partnerships, key partnerships that they're having. So again, I'm confused by this. We're not lay people in the B2B world, especially when it comes to this industry. So if this is confusing you and I, not good news. So
yeah, and that's an easy change. Who we work with, our partners. Right there, 2 words that explain exactly what this area is.
Or partners and associations. Partners and associations.
Right. If you want to do it like that as well. You just want to be as clear as possible with all of your headlines, with all of your directionals, things like that. You want to make sure you're spelling this out. Because again, I went through this really quickly and I saw logos and I thought, oh, clients, because that's commonly what people put on their websites.
So, all right. So let's talk about the audience based on the homepage. What's your best guess based upon your, limited time with this homepage? Who are they targeting? Because I think they're targeting power plants, maybe gas and oil refineries based upon the imagery that I'm seeing here, but I'm not quite sure who they're targeting. It's not explicit. And sometimes you have to be explicit when you're with your visuals. So
yeah, if we go back to that second slide, that's the only place I've seen a person actually show up here. And it's not too bad of an image, because it does show 2 things, right? It shows this guy, and what is he doing? He is looking at a smokestack, and this keeps moving. But so that's saying I'm paying attention to the smokestack. That's just, a supporting element. So then I would think, okay, it's a plant manager, an engineer, someone who works in, on the operations side, on the day-to-day of running the plant. But other than that, yeah, there really isn't a lot here specifically saying visually, here's who our audience is, right?
Right. So again, this looks to me like a oil gas refinery based upon the stacks and my limited knowledge. So this might be apparent to the end user who's checking them out. This looks like a coal energy plant. That's what that looks like to me. But again, I could be very wrong here. So I give this like a C rating in terms of defining my audience right off the bat. Let's start delving in a little bit deeper here. We did a little bit. Let's go into ambient air monitoring, see what the internal pages look like. Oh, interesting. Okay. So they have, it's interesting how on this page they're using icons, but then they're not using the icons like you mentioned in the header earlier. So what if I can't click on these? So that's, what do you refer to that as? Like continuity with your user interface? I mean, there's no continuity. At least I go, these are clickable icons to learn more, makes sense. And then I'm seeing more icons and I can't click on these. Does that bother you like it bothers me, Jeff?
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's what we call kind of an inconsistent design pattern, right? It is not clear to the user what is clickable and isn't. If there's no button, then everything potentially could be clickable, and you need to start using your mouse to investigate it. And you're just adding a little step of friction to the user. And every tiny step, it does add up, and eventually someone will be like, I can't find what I need on this website. I'll go back to Google and I'll go search somebody else.
Yeah. All right, so let's read all right, let's look at the overall air pollution modeling. Oh, that's cool. So they have, again, another slideshow. Ugh. But still very strong, very interesting visuals. I mean, this is really well designed. These slides are really well designed.
Yeah, I would like to kind of see these one after the other, and instead of just being images, kind of designing them out a little bit.
Yeah,
which could be done.
Like make this into a log scrollable page, or yeah.
Yeah, let's see. It wouldn't be too bad. 6, 7, 8 or 9 of these, so it wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah,
but they are, the problem is it looks great. It looks professional from a visual standpoint, right? But, possibly this looks like a PowerPoint slide. I actually just spied, there's a little tiny piece of pagination right here. So this smells to me like it was a PowerPoint that someone said needed to be on the website instead of developed in. But again, like it looks great, but what's above it? It's buried under a big block of text.
No one's going to ever find this, right? And this is a really
if someone's moving quickly through your website, you're just raising the chance that all of this, what looks like really clearly presented information, you're just giving them the chance to miss it.
This is great. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is powerful stuff. I'd imagine strong visuals coupled with strong statements. This is really well done. They should absolutely take this to the homepage somehow, some way, and create independent pages and get this out of a slideshow format. I am very impressed by this. Anyhow, yeah, and it's buried on this page. I wonder why. Anyhow, all right, so let's go to power plant performance testing. Let's see what we got there. All right, so we got the same visuals, can't click on them. I'd rather see like combustion. Yeah, I understand what they're trying to say. They're saying that, hey, we work with all these types of systems. We work with pumps, heat exchangers. I get it, but again, that consistency should be there. Maybe steam turbines with some brief text, or elaborate on this stuff. Just don't throw it there, because it's not going to help me. I mean, I would rather see a bulleted list of, hey, these are the types of solutions we can work with, or these are the types of systems we work with. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Anyway, so
yeah. And also, you had mentioned before, there is a store section of this website. So somewhere on this page, you would think that you would want to kind of push them there as well. So give them some options, show some of the most popular or ones that people are looking for. Put them somewhere, and then put that text of like all the other options a little below. It just enables that you can get someone flowing through, maybe make a sale easier. Again, it's all about, taking out the friction for your users. This website, I mean, it's nice looking, it has a lot of good information. It seems pretty well written, and has good icons, and like we saw on that last page, some good visuals.
No, I don't know.
The problem is you're making.
They forgot a period here. I don't know if it's well written. They forgot a period. Right?
Well, anyway. Yeah, Grammarly could fix that easily. But here's the thing is, you're making your users do a lot of the work here. And eventually they're just going to get tired. What's the one thing we know about B2B users, Ian? is they're working during the day between 9 and 5. It's their job. They probably don't want to be on your website. They don't want to have to do this. They just want to get the information and get back to the things that they're actually trying to get done. It's a very high, generally, your customers are going to be very high stress. They're probably under deadlines. They're, maybe the business is going great and they're feeling good, but maybe it's not going great and they're having a lot of stress for their clients. So take as much friction out of your website as possible, make it as easy for them so that they can hit your website and within 2 or 3 minutes, find exactly what they're looking for. And potentially that's a lead or a sale.
Absolutely. I mean, the other component of this is that ultimately, how are they making money? And I'm assuming the store is really a good way to, so let's jump into the store actually. Okay, so I'm looking under I guess the category of Mercury. These are all products they sell that are related to testing for Mercury, I imagine. So nice. And then they have pagination, so I can continue on. All right, and then
overall, it's a pretty well designed store. If you can reload the page though, I want to point something out.
Sure.
Because it's overall good. So on my screen before, maybe it's because yours is a little longer, there's a certain distance the browser has to be for these to load up. On my screen, these didn't even load up. So immediately I thought, oh, I guess it looks like they only have these 3 products. Right. So because it's what do you call it? It's lazy. It's kind of lazy loading. And then it has that animation that comes in. When it comes to a store, get rid of your animation. There's places, the homepage, maybe you can jazz it up with a few minor animations and loading, maybe that works depending on how it's structured. Get rid of it on your stores. Never have animation, put anything like that unless it's a buy now button that when the user mouse is over it, maybe it bumps up a little or expands or something like that. It's just, again, you're adding kind of friction, and overall you're doing it to a store that seems, it gives you a few options. It's nice and clear. It's open, good. You have good images, there's pricing.
Yeah.
It's not a ton of details, but at least, if you're looking for something specific, it looks like you can find it. And yeah, rent versus purchase. So gives you the option right there as well.
I've always wanted a Catico Method 30B sample console. So
yeah, I know you've been really needing one lately.
I really have.
But
want to test Mercury in my Air.
Yeah. Okay, so nice large image when you zoom in on it. Oh wow, really? Yeah, that's nice. I like having.
Oh, that is nice.
It's a little hard to see the icons up top, but you can even zoom in further.
You can? Oh, let me see.
Yeah. So if you look there,
yeah. Wow. Look at
they
that.
need to be a little. They need to be white or something to to kind of show off a little bit. You can see it, when it pops over on the black here. So that's nice. I like that because there could be a lot of details, especially on products like this, that someone may want to see, take a look at, pull down off your website, put it into their own presentation, things like that. Decent amount of text up here.
Oh, sorry. I clicked purchase proposal and took me to this page where I can fill out all my information. That's good. Sorry about that, Jeff.
So yeah, decent amount of intro text. Overall controls look good. The pricing is called out. They got quantity. Are you on the purchase side or the rent? Or go scroll down.
You want to do the rent side?
No, go the purchase side is fine because let's go through this flow. Let's see how it works. You want to buy? Let's say we want one of them. Okay, so there's view proposal. So
what happened was I think since I clicked the proposal method, it loaded up a different interface. There it goes. Let's do this again. Now we can add to cart. Yeah.
All right, because I was gonna say one of the things that, and a lot of times this comes to naming, but sometimes B2B businesses, they won't be selling directly online. Like not everyone can buy a piece of information. You kind of have to request a quote or request a proposal, but they still have things like add to cart, which whenever a user sees the word cart, they're going to assume I can put my credit card information, make a purchase, and then it's immediately shipped to me.
Right.
So yeah, that's good. And I do like how they have, okay, if I need it, there's the cart. There's also the purchase proposal as well, which I'm assuming if you have a larger order or you're doing something and you have a lot of equipment to buy, that may be useful. I really like that. That gives kind of the user options and it gives them control over how they want to do this. Because, especially with this is a pretty expensive piece of technology. If you're buying multiple pieces, there may be a lot of steps that a customer is going to need to go through to get the okay to make that purchase.
Sure.
They have a SKU. They also have some share buttons. I'm not sure an engineer is going to want to share this on Facebook with his family and friends. So, might want to get rid of that stuff.
I don't know. They might want the Catico. I was jonesing for one, so they want to share that on Facebook.
And then even lower, there's even more information on this page.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that, right? I really had to scroll far to get to the additional information.
Yeah, there could be a little work done to get this up here. I mean, you would want to bring this out of the tabs, but if you're going through the tabs, there's a lot of stuff here, additional information, weight, dimensions. Okay, no documents for this particular item, it looks like. I'm going through all the tabs, but related products. Then we have if you scroll down, we have related products, which is good. Looks like the rest of them. But then there's a form, and if you don't read any of that text below there, I'm not sure what this form even does. So this form needs a headline.
Our newsletter. They have to
okay.
at least bold. They have to bold that text at least. Subscribe to
and just use a headline that says subscribe to our newsletter or quarterly newsletter, weekly newsletter. If you want to give some more information.
So let's run through because we've been doing this now for almost 40 minutes. So let's run through. Let's go to the technical library. Let's see how. Okay, so they have brochure. They have case studies, and their case studies are hidden within this section. So you and I both know that engineers love case studies. They want to quickly browse them to see if any of this relates to their problem. So this should be somehow, some way on the homepage. Click here to view our case studies. This is fantastic. They have technical presentations. Engineers love technical presentations. So this really needs to be brought to the forefront here. Let's go into one of their case studies here. Let's see what it is. Is it a PDF file? Oh my God, it's not even a PDF file. They actually have some text here.
I wish every one of our clients would do something like this. So it's longish, but it's not too long. It has a nice, the approach, the background. If I scroll down, results, summary. So it's got everything you'd want to skim. But and it also provides the exact same thing in a PDF, which engineers may need. They may want to reference it. They might want to include it in documentation that they're passing up to purchasing to get done. So this kind of hits all the marks for a case study, I would say. This is pretty excellent. But again, to your point, they're pretty hidden. It's hidden by a technical library. At the very least, you want to kind of at least put the under resources case study that kind of pre-filters all this stuff for people.
Yeah. And just because I know a little bit about CleanAir, they're a large organization. So they're known in their industry. This should somehow, some way be brought to the forefront. I didn't even know this existed. This is really, really good. And honestly, the way it's organized is fine. Probably people are going to type in, what are they going to type? They're going to type in technical words, maybe like ABC. Let's see if that actually works. Okay. Brought up a seminar. Wonder if it's actually bringing up, the rest of everything. But let's see. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Well, it didn't bring up this one. This one had the word ATC. So interesting. This review did not come up, but this came up. So maybe their search is not working correctly.
Yeah, and I do like the variety of stuff here. If you go into white papers, Ian, and click on one of them.
I just did the difference. I didn't use the blog search. I used the over. All right. So if you do the overall search, it is finding products that say ATC. All right. So that's a little confusing there. All right. So you wanted me to go to white papers?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something I like to see too. So there are case studies, which generally you want to provide to your audience. You want to provide it to Google. And then there are white papers. And this is a good example of how to think about the importance of one of these, because this is a gated page. And generally white papers are gated. This is a lot, it's heavier information. Generally white papers are longer. They take a lot more time. So if you're going to, this is the kind of thing we like to see, because this is the perfect kind of resource to at least capture a simple lead. And, there's only 4 forms you have to fill, so it's not too hard. Gives you a little thank you message. But, this is a great kind of really top level, lead capturing item. And you'll know exactly what white papers they're looking at. So that'll give you more information for your salespeople to, discuss what their problems are. So overall, I think this resource is, while it could be a little more spelled out exactly what ones you can get from the start, whether in the menu or from the homepage, but the structure of these pages is handled very, very, very well.
Yeah, I just checked my email. That you probably saw my cursor moving around like crazy. I did not get the email. So I'm wondering if I went to my spam filters. My spam filters are they're not advanced spam filters. So I didn't get it. So I wonder if this is even working. That like my white paper is being emailed to me. It might not be. It depends on how their website's configured, how their what is it called? Their email relay is also configured. So that's not good news. Sometimes it's easier just to provide the user with a hidden link. So, all right, let's go into the careers really quickly. Let's see what they got there, and let's working at Clean. All right, so this is nice. They have working at CleanAir, the benefits. Okay, holiday schedule. So I click on holiday schedule. It doesn't do anything. Just has this fun rollover effect. So it looks like this is like a template that doesn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have done these animations at all because it's not helping. It's not clickable content. Yeah. I would contact us.
Yeah, this is a pretty good. The careers is pretty good. The only thing I would say is, how do you apply?
Now I see open positions again. It's a third party.
Oh, up top. Yeah.
Zoho, okay. Zoho Recruit. So they're using Zoho. And then so it opens up in a new tab, which is the way to do it. But again, maybe they could have brought in, those job postings instead of having to find this button. I wonder if they could have just iframed this information and brought it into the website. Contact us, standard pro quo, nothing out of the ordinary. I would have put there's their addresses towards the bottom. I would have stacked these to the right here in the right-hand column. This is a lot of white space here. And they probably could have, stacked these, or maybe they could have made these, half the size, the fields, or reduce the length of the fields. And then, follow us, not important. As we know, for the most part, people don't click on social media links from what we've discovered. This information should have probably just remain in the header, put this up top, or put this on the bottom on they do have it on the footer at least. So could have been,
all the information you need is on the contact page, but this could just be relayed out a little better. The form looks a little, because it's form field, it looks more like a more complicated form than it could be. Whereas first name next to last name, your email, company phone, that you save a lot of space. But not too bad.
Not too bad. All right, so let's just go through what we do. We already did that research. All right, so let's jump back to the home page. Let's talk about, last but not least, the navigation, overall site flow. All right, so they have rollovers, because we've mentioned this many a times during our website reviews, because people are using Microsoft Surfaces, or they're using the iPad Pro, rollovers are not good. They should be on clicks. So, but overall, I think the drop-down menu is clear, concise. I'm not hunting for stuff. Maybe the store could be reduced in terms of the amount of categories being highlighted, but I think it's okay.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really sticks out to me are the icons up here. Obviously, the cart is pretty universal, but you have to actually get the mouse over text for these to understand what they are. This, if I mouse over it,
Purchase portal.
so the purchase proposal,
portal,
and there's I have no idea what the little I have no idea what the person does. It doesn't give you text. So you want to kind of pair some text. You know, you want to say cart, proposals, account, if that's what that does, if that's an account button, or log in. There you go. Yeah. So just pair a little bit of text there. Just, you know, assume people aren't gonna be able to understand what your icons are. And you know, anytime you use icons, it's a good assumption to make.
All right, let's look at the footer and then let's wrap this up. So again, like I just mentioned, contact information's there, main headings are here. So they have a couple item terms of use, contact us, careers, events. Okay. They have their logo again, social media links. That's where I shove your social media links up. Copyrights 2020. Should update that to 2022. All rights reserved. Is it all right reserved or all rights reserved? I think it's rights.
I think all rights is usually either one works, but I think all rights is usually what you
I have a little need help here. I wonder why this need help is just thrown here. I'd imagine most people just go to contact us. Get rid of that.
Yeah, I mean that whole element on I have that blocked with my ad blockers, so that's not even appearing for me.
Got it.
Which is you know, a good reason not to use stuff like that. But at least you don't. They're not relying on it. There's contact us buttons. It's clear in the header, and you know, overall, you know, it's pretty easy to figure out how to contact them.
You know, before I forget, let's go into what we do. Let's check out their H1s, H2s. Let's see if they're doing that. All right, let's inspect. All right, let's inspect this specific element. And it is an H3. Okay, they did a good job there. Let's inspect that element. And that is an H1. Okay, so page title is an H1. Fantastic. I don't know why this is not an H2. Let's see if this is an H2. Inspect elements. That is a div. That is not an H2. That is just this. We have it wrapped in a div, which is nothing. Okay, so yeah, I mean, at least they're using H1, H2 hierarchy, so Google knows what's more important on the page. That's good. Let's go into like resources. I'm just kind of curious. Let's go into a blog. See that from a visual stand. I mean, a SEO standpoint. All right, let's go into actual article itself. Site's loading a little bit slowly, but it doesn't bug me too much. All right. Page title. I'm assuming this is going to be H1 because the rest of the site was done. Yeah, H1. And let's see if they have any they don't have any headings on the specific post that I'm checking out. So hard to say, but I'm going to assume that most of the site doesn't have a lot of structure to it. Like, let's see what this is right here. Let's inspect this element. That's an H2. Okay. I wonder if this is willy-nilly or they actually put some thought behind, you know, what is a heading 1? What is a heading 2? What's the hierarchy of information on a page? I'm going to guess probably not. So let's see what this is.
Yeah, it's definitely some room for improvement there, but I think we can start wrapping this up. So
okay, let me all right, so overall, the great CleanAir's website, what would you give this, Jeff? Because I usually weigh in first. I'm gonna have you weigh in first.
I would say that this is a B minus as far as a website go. And there are really, you know, we didn't go over any of the branding. Really, the main theme for me is that this website makes your users do a lot of work to find the information they want. And this website, even if it was just cleaning it up to make sure that that friction was gone without any major, branding updates or things like that, would do a lot of help for users, making
I
sure that
agree.
they can get to resources, pointing them to white papers and lead capture areas. Having a static hero area that clearly tells your audience exactly what you do off the top, raising up, bringing up those directionals, bringing up the testimonials, the claims and the proof. And, I think that's the main thing, toning down some of the animations on that product store. That's kind of a major one. But there's a lot of really good content on this website. The product pages look good. They have a lot of information. It's all about displaying it and getting all of the stuff out of the way of the users. That's what I think the theme of this review would be for me.
And I am going to give this overall a C. I think they have a lot of good content. I think visually it's clean, pun intended. Lot of white space. Oh, look, I'm frozen. I'm back. So I just, the site flow is horrific. The information is there. It's like you mentioned, it's not easily found. It appears to me as if someone who's not a web designer put this together. They kind of threw it together. They didn't put a lot of thought behind it. It looks like it was a rush job to me. But obviously smart people were behind the content. So it has, our company Lform could definitely take this and turn this into an A+ just with the existing content. That's what I believe, but it needs a lot of work. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So great. All right, Jeff. I think that wraps it up for today. So why don't you take us out of here?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks everybody for watching. Remember to subscribe to our channel. It helps us get out to more people, helps us kind of talk web and hopefully educate people on how to make websites better, specifically B2B ones. If you've got any good information, any thoughts on on what we've said today, let us know down in the comments. It helps us get this channel a little bit bigger, because we do love doing these website reviews.
We love doing it, that's for sure.
Thanks very much, and take care.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you checking this out. And until next time, see ya.